Michael Sheridan here. Welcome to the show all about dreams. You send them to me and I'll tell you what they mean. It's as simple as that. If you want a dream done, send it to radioshow@dream-analysis.com or text them from your smartphone to 206 708 7254. If you want to come on air, phone the station now on 425 373 5527. That's 425 373 5527. You can find all these details and more on my website at dream-analysis.com/kknw. On Saturday, I gave a lecture at East West Bookshop here in Seattle. Thanks to everyone who endured the rain to make it to the event. I'm still on a high from it. I have other events happening in the next 2 weeks and I'll mention them later. So today I'm just doing a mix of dreams I've received by email. I received some of them just yesterday, so you don't necessarily have to wait long to hear your dream being done. That's a hint. Send them in. radioshow@dream-analysis.com. Okay, last week I finished hurriedly on Brian's dream, and so I put it on Facebook in all glorious detail, and it's something I rarely mention. I do have a Facebook page, which you can find from the same website address, dream-analysis.com/kknw. And on that I post many articles about dreams, including these shows, the archive audio of these shows. But you may remember from Brian's dream, it was about going back to before he was born and in the womb, and it was about his mom being on the pill and her still getting pregnant with him and issues that created. Anyway, the details on the site. But what was interesting was Brian's response to that. So I'm just going to read that out here. He says, I know from what I've been told, my mother was not trying to get pregnant. She had a backache and went to the doctor. They did an x-ray and noticed something that led them to do a pregnancy test. So I would suspect she was not on the pill at the time, or that she was on the pill at the time. So thanks for the feedback. I know it's kind of sometimes hard to get this information, but it still makes it more interesting for everybody else to know how it goes. And I wanted to do another dream by Brian as well, and I had that with me last week as well, so I'm just picking up where we stopped. And this one's entitled Cabin in the Woods. And straight away from the title, we know it's about the colon. And Brian also shares after the dream that he's on a low-carb diet in reality and had recently been straying from it. So the first thing is, when you're on a temporary diet, there's never any need to worry because you're only going to do it for a number of weeks and then you go back to your regular eating habits, or maybe more healthy than your regular eating habits. So what tends to come up in these dreams is not something you'd worry about. You only look at them and take stock if the issues in the dreams remain. So in this one anyway, he says, I was in a cabin in a very remote area. There were many people inside and we were having some kind of party. There was another cabin down a hill below us. It was night and I remember walking outside and looking down at the cabin. I saw a light and shadows in the cabin window and I called them sticky shadow people. I was quite fearful of these people. And this is common for this type of dream, especially diet changes. We wanted to leave because of the people in the other cabin. I tried calling 911, but I could not get a signal on my cell phone. I then called my dad and gave him the address we were at and asked him to call the police for us. Now, you remember last week Brian's dreams were about communication difficulties from childhood, and here we have trouble with dialing a phone again. So that stays in it. But here the real issue is the diet and the sticky shadow people are the things that he's afraid of, and then knowing that they're in danger or he's in danger. The last little bit of the dream says, I went back in our cabin and the people in my cabin told me I owed them $113 for all the food I ate. I remember thinking that I did not eat that much food and that I brought 4 bags of chips. In my mind, I was referencing 4 big bags of thick-cut Lay's potato chips in red bags that are in my pantry in real life. So straight away, apart from the plug that he gave Lay's there, the dream is showing the high cost of this new diet because he's been asked to pay this money. But that cost isn't just that. It is a high cost, but also we have the danger that is brewing in the woods. So if you look at the woods being representing the colon in the dream, which is what it represents, and then these dangerous or shady characters showing up. So all it is saying, okay, don't stay on that diet. I wouldn't stay on that diet for a long time. And in the dream, it's showing you that there's a danger to staying on it and the high cost to staying on it. So you don't really need to look at the detail. And the reason you don't need to is because it's not your normal diet. You've changed something. And this reminds me of my friend Jamie, who went on a high-fat diet to lose the baby weight from her first pregnancy. And she was quite alarmed. It was kind of funny. She went on this diet. She'd had the baby. The baby was about a year and a half, and she still hadn't successfully lost all the weight. So she went on this diet to lose it. The good news is the diet was successful because she lost the weight and her husband couldn't keep his hands off her, and she's due her next baby in about 2 months. So congratulations, Jamie, there. But she was really alarmed when she had dreams that showed symbols for cancer, and Jamie had done my course before, so she was quite in touch with what her dreams were about. But she was very afraid. It's kind of funny when you say there's no need to worry about a particular dream. That doesn't necessarily calm a person down. So there's lots of topics that we don't cover on the radio because of that. And so what we did in the end was we walked around the local supermarket, and she pointed out all the things. She was on an exactly similar diet, a high-fat diet, and she pointed out all the issues, all the foods that she was now eating. And it was just one food. We were able to cut out one food, and all our scary dreams stopped. So it's not necessarily the diet. It can be a brand of the particular food that is what you need to cut out. And that's always interesting to know. So moving on from that, and what made me think of Jamie was, or when I did think of her, I have a dream from hers, a recent one. And she calls it Groundhog Day. Please always untitle your dreams. It's really good to get that. So in her dream, she says, I was with 2 or 3 other people, and we had become aware that the world was going to experience 2 explosions, so we had to leave. We were leaving and got to the door to exit, but we were outside. It was up a hill of green grass, like people everywhere for a festival or outdoor show. Before exiting, the explosion hit, and we all crouched down and felt the impact. There was little damage. We just felt the massive energetic field hit us and kind of jolt us. Then we exited out this door. The thing is, we realised that we had forgotten things, left behind things, or done something wrong, or just wanted to give it another go, so we decided to do the whole thing over again, like Groundhog Day, the movie. This time, others were aware beyond just us, a woman and our whole families. So they were prepared. The woman asked us to take her baby with us. She was very pregnant, but still had this newborn baby, just born, like days. I couldn't figure out how she would be so massively pregnant and have a newborn. So we took the baby this time and headed for our exit, the door on the hill. The first explosion happened, but then we were heading up the green grass hill when the second explosion hit. Braced ourselves, it was fine, but we missed the second exit. Something about bringing the baby changed things. So, it's kind of an obvious dream. First of all, it has a theme that you see commonly in people who work in the spiritual field, because there's all talk of major changes coming spiritually, and the world becoming a much more aware place, and huge prophecies of that nature for quite some time. And even in this dream, we have prophecy showing up as one of her abilities, because she says she was aware that the world was going to experience 2 explosions. So she knows this in advance. But she's known it for a while, and she has particular abilities. She can channel and do various other things. But the dream is saying, stop trying to be ready. That's really the theme of this dream. Just be open-hearted, and the open-heartedness comes from the green grass of the festival, being outdoors, feeling the impact. So there's several things in there that tell us it's about being open-hearted and relaxed, because it's like people are outside enjoying a show, and that's the way you should be. So don't be thinking that being heavily pregnant or having another baby will knock you off your course, because it won't. It can't. And so that's really the message in your dream. And also remember then, in Groundhog Day, all his planning never achieved anything. It was only when he let go of planning and just decided to enjoy the experiences of life that he advanced past the rut he was stuck in. So it's the same message for you, because you know the film intimately. Relax and enjoy the experience, and don't be caught up in how you're going to change things and how you're going to get yourself on the right path. You're always going to be there. So I have another dream here now. It's quite a short one from Annie. She says, I'm sitting at a table with my cell phone in front of me. I inhale as I'm about to sneeze, and I inhale the cell phone and swallow it. It's a Samsung S5, not small. So there's another plug. Made me realise this is going on. Anyway, she says, I'm perplexed as how I could swallow it and walk around the rest of the dream wondering what will happen when it rings or vibrates. How will it feel? I run into my sister and she also has swallowed a cell phone. Okay, so the analysis is very straightforward, but it's an intriguing dream. And then quite often, because of the way the symbols are put together, we can get a bit perplexed about how to go about analysing the dream. But we have the cell phone, which is a communication device, and we have breathing in deeply and putting the cell phone on the inside of the body. So the dream is about breathing in life, and it's positive. It's a good dream. It says you have a new communication ability that's becoming part of you. Clearly, the phone has become part of your insides. And we also see the sister having a communication issue, says it was connected with your family. This was connected with your family. But something's changed now and it's good. But she too has taken in this new way of communicating feelings. And I say communicating feelings because the phone's on the inside. It's communication from the inside. And if you look at the main thing in your dream, you say, I wonder what will happen when it rings or vibrates. How will it feel? And to finish that off, it says, you're really saying is, how will it feel when a connection is made from the inside? So it's all about sharing your feelings, being open emotionally. And that's easier said than done. A lot of us don't have any training in that area whatsoever. But that's what the dream's about, and it's showing progress in that area, even though the phone seems a bit swallowing it seems a bit strange. It's a very good dream. So now we have a dream from Jackie. She says, my partner came home with a gift that he'd gotten at work. It was in a lovely gift bag that was black and gold and reminded me of the colours of the New Orleans Saints football team. He reached into the bag and pulled out 2 beautiful sweaters that were also black and gold. I thought it was crafty that whoever wrapped the gift had found a gift bag that matched the sweaters so perfectly. I was very happy for him, but he was shaking his head saying, no, these aren't meant for me. I can't accept these. They are too nice. So that's the dream, quite a short little one. And it's very simple in its analysis. Jackie has the gift of healing. It's a male energy gift, which is why it shows up as her partner in the dream has this gift or receives it. So spiritual healing is where you put your hands on somebody else or at least into their aura and project energy that way. So it's male energy. And here, because we have, that's what the gold represents, and because we have gold and black, it's a healing for negativity picked up from dad, which again is also because, we can say dad because of the partner in the dream. So it has to be some male character in your past, and it's mostly going to be one of our parents because they are really the only ones that have any influence over us that matters in any significant way. But I know in your case, or at least you've told me, that you're aware of issues with dad and that you have to work on issues with dad. So this dream not only shows it's healing for that, but it also shows that you've got a healing ability. And also, there's a touch in this about saying that you can help people heal negativity from their past, or to put a spin on it, you can help heal people's karma. You know, that's kind of a stupid thing to say, and you hear people saying they can do it. You really have to do this work yourself. But it can help. Going to other people can help because of the energy and lift they can give you, or you can give other people. And also the light that you can shed on things. You're also a channel, and that comes up in here too because of the 2 sweaters that show up in it. So it's not just healing, hands-on healing, it's also healing through what you channel and pick up for other people. So that's good. Now I have a couple of dreams from Patricia. And she uses a lot of names in these dreams, and I've blanked them out so that she remains anonymous. At least I hope she does. And it's interesting. Look at her dream. So usually I read the dream and then I say what it's about. But this dream shows the dreamer's intuition. That's really what it's about. It's repeatedly trying to show her intuition and get her to accept it or get her to put her in touch with it. But repeatedly throughout the dream, we see her projecting issues with it and problems show up in the dream that keep her back. But it persists until she succeeds, and that's good. So it starts off, I was at church and wanted to light a candle. So the church tells us it's the spiritual dimension of herself, so it's a spiritual dream. And lighting a candle is about her intuition. Intuition comes to us through feeling. So she gets information through feelings, gets feelings about things. Whether she listens to them or not is one thing, but she certainly did in the past, and we'll see how that works, how we can say that later on. And she's at the statue of Mary. So Mary, of course, is the church's female figure, and intuition is a female energy trait, so it's really good to see that in the dream. Again, backing up the fact that it's spiritual and that it's female side. There were candles at the statue of the Sacred Heart, again, Sacred Heart, pointing out female energy, and Jesus were there, and the candles at the statue of Mary. I decided to light a candle at the statue of Mary for me. I was in my scooter and wasn't sure I could reach. So here we have not sure I can reach. So we have a limitation that she's projecting because she's saying she's not sure. So remember, it all reflects back on her intuition and her trusting her intuition. She's not sure about it or doesn't feel she can reach it when she needs to or tune into it when she needs to. Whatever it is, she'll be very aware of it. But I turned the scooter around and backed up to the candles and was able to reach a new candle with the glass holder. And glass is also another symbol for intuition. So we have lots of things in here. And the matches would be another. So the reason I say she did this in the past is because she backs up to the candles. So that's going to represent the past. So I was able to reach this in the past, even though it's the present in the dream. She's doing this backwards. So she knows, or at least can think of a time when she did trust her own intuition. And the dream is trying to put her back in touch with that to help her now get in touch with her intuition in a stronger way in the present. So I was glad I didn't have to ask my son to come and help me because I like it when I don't have to bother him or interrupt him, and he was in the church praying too. That's okay. I almost dropped the glass holder. So again, we have the glass holder representing her intuition, and almost dropping it is another negativity projected into the dream, where she's feels like she hasn't got a hold of this ability or hasn't completely got in touch with it. I almost dropped the glass holder through my legs, but caught it. Okay, that's great. I lit a match, but the wick had so much wax on it that it wouldn't light. So we have another negative here, it wouldn't light. And this is the part I was saying to notice. And it's not just Patricia that does this. We all do this. We project into our dreams over and over and over, and we show our fears and everything else along those lines that blocks us with regard to connecting to our spiritual abilities. But the dreams persist. So the really short dreams are usually ones where we are told what to do and we accept it straight away, and then the dream ends. But when they don't end, lots of things keep happening to try get us to succeed in what the dream is, taking on what the dream is trying to get us to do. I had to grab another pack of matches. I dropped the first match after it went out, but it was still smouldering, and I hoped it wouldn't catch fire under me. So fears with regard to, again, using the ability. And it's not necessarily the ability, fears with the ability, but it could be fears to do with trusting it, what if I get it wrong, or whatever it happens to be, but it'll be obvious to Patricia. I felt like that was a low risk, so I focused on lighting the candle with the next match. It finally lit after I held the flame to the wick and burnt off the extra wax, which sparkled and smoked. So that's great, it finally lights, and that's really the purpose of the dream. I set the candle into the holder and put it under the statue of Mary in the stand on the lower left statue of Mary, which, let's see, put it under the statue of Mary in the stand on the lower left. That's fine. I noticed that the first match was no longer smoking under me. So she's got it lit. There's no danger immediately present, and that's good. But the dream continues on, and that's fine. Then I went around the corner to a bigger statue of Mary with much bigger candles and decided to light a candle for all my children and my husband. Then I decided to make a donation. So I got out $7.50 and I put $5 in the slot for the big candle and $2.50 in the slot for the small candle. Then I woke up. So the first part up to lighting the candle is all about rekindling your intuition or getting in touch with your intuition. Spiritual gift. We're doing it in a church and everything like that. So it's all good that way, and it finishes in a good way. Then go around the corner to a bigger statue of Mary with bigger candles. So this is really good. So it's saying, okay, once you start this, it's going to get bigger and stronger for you. And then she decides to make a donation. And the amount we pay in a dream is always important. So 750. 7 is the number of our spiritual chakra. So that backs up the fact that we're in a church in the dream. So this is a spiritual path for her. 5 is to do with karma, and 0 is a goal. So 750 is saying that this is your karmic path. Karma is one of those extremely misused words in the West. Karma is not a negative thing. It's just a way of living, and most of us live on the karmic path. It's where we attract into our lives events and circumstances that will teach us about ourselves and increase our awareness through the experiences that we have. And that's what karma is about. And it stands for that in dreams because of 5. And the 5 represents learning about ourselves through the 5 senses. Now, we can move off the karmic path if we want. It takes a little bit of work, opening your heart, being compassionate and not judgmental. And that's not a frame of mind. If you have never been on the karmic path, you don't know what it feels like. It's a bit like riding a bike. Totally, the experience is the only thing that can describe it. You could read about it, but you wouldn't know what the experience is. But it is within everybody's reach, and more so these days because there's a lot more energy around. So here, the fact that she's paying this money in the dream is really good. And she's saying, okay, I accept that this is my path. So my path, developing my intuition is part of my path. And I used it in the past. So she knows she used it in the past. So having done that, she already knows what she's to get back in touch with now, today. And it's also how she channels. So she gets feelings about things, and those feelings, that can come not just from her higher self, which is what intuition comes from. It can also come from other spirits or guides, in her case, that are passing on information to her. Okay, so she has another dream that, again, is interesting to look at. It's watching this one, how it shows issues picked up from mom at the ages 9 and 10. And it's interesting from that perspective. It's kind of a long dream, so I won't go into all the analysis, but I will just say, watch for how these things show up. I dreamt that my brother and sister-in-law came by a house that I seemed to be staying in with my mom. So she's with her mom, even though it's the present day. So it's saying, okay, even when your mom's not around you physically, you are still influenced by her. So we know straight away it's about issues with her mom. And she's also with her 20-year-old daughter. So this emphasizes the mother-daughter relationship. So it's about when you were a daughter. They brought family photos. Photos in this type of dream are about being objective about the past, and not. The intention is to help you not be as emotional about it. My brother said hi to mom, and mom cried, and he tried to tell her it was okay. So mom crying in the dream basically says the dreamer needs to cry about mom, about issues in the past. And now it goes on about, I made blueberry muffins and forgot to put in the 2 cans of blueberries. I had to put the batter into the muffin tins, and they would cook through on the stovetop before I could add the blueberries, and so on. And this is about something to do with the reproductive system, making a cake, and in a dream can represent that, and it does in this dream. And she forgets to put in the blueberries. So there's something, it's about something that's different that she doesn't want her family to notice. So there's this is one of the issues that comes from the past. Without going into any details, she'll know exactly what it is. Then I had to pack for me and my daughter to go on a trip for some kind of fun camping thing, and the bus was leaving the church location similar to the church and school that I went to in the 4th and 5th grade. So that's how we know her ages. It's bringing her back to age 9 and 10. The bus was leaving at 2:15 in the afternoon, and if we didn't get there in time, it would leave without us. Now, this is another thing about karma. When we see timing in a dream telling us we're going to miss something, it's saying we know spiritually where we should be on our path. And at night when we leave our bodies and have dialogues with our higher self and our guides, we know at that point that we're behind where we need to be. And that's okay. It's not too bad to be behind. But it shows up in our dreams as showing us being late for something. I started to look for my blue suitcase. So we have the blueberries in the blue suitcase. Blue has to do with philosophy of life, and the suitcase is to do with baggage that she picked up from her mom. And I was looking for that I had packed and left outside with some fellow campers. When I went there, it was dark, but when I was at the house, it was daytime. I found my suitcase alone on a small hill, and I took it and started walking to the bus with another girl, and then realized I needed more stuff. So I went back to the house and tried to find my towel, swimsuit, and lots of other things I realized I needed. So that's a pity. It's a pity you even found the suitcase. It's great in a dream if you can't, because that's the baggage that you need to get rid of. And worse here, you going back to get more stuff, to pack more. So definitely something you need to look at back at that age in your childhood, issues around mom. I couldn't believe I didn't think of packing these things earlier. It took so long to pack that it was 12:15 and I was still at home. A saleswoman with a personal supply company that I ordered from came to the house and I showed her some ugly beige cloth garter wear that I didn't order in a huge box with other random ugly clothes, and told her I would talk to her when I got back from my trip about returning it. So we have more things to do with sexuality there, which fits in with the previous theme in the dream. Then Mum went down to the basement garage shelf to get another suitcase after I filled a second small one she gave me. So things in the basement in a dream are about things that are below conscious level. So this is saying, look, you still need to go back, deal with the issues with your mom. There's more in the dream, and it all just emphasizes mom, which is fine. We can stop at it there because we're running out of time. So what I wanted to just say is that next weekend, 24th and 25th, I have a full 2-day weekend workshop where you learn all about dreams and how to interpret yours. I use your dreams as the course material, so it's a hit the ground running type of course, and that's in Seattle. The following weekend, February 1st, I begin a 6-week online course. That's 1.5 hours per week for 6 weeks. Both courses cover all aspects of dream interpretation, and you can find all the details on my website. Go to www.dream-analysis.com and look for online courses and workshops at the top of the page. That's it for this week. Have pleasant dreams and then send them to me. Thank you.